I'm an ex-builder, carpenter that hurt his back really bad and had to go back to school at 30 years old to learn start a whole new career, get an education and a whole new career. I chose to be an aviation mechanic and get my associate's degree in avionics because that was a passion I always had even since my military days. I don't know who started that whiteboard, but hopefully somebody can stop it. So 35 years ago, I went back to school and to be an aviation mechanic, but it was at that time in my life I was introduced to this industry. And for me, it seemed exciting. It was, a great company to be a part of, but I was just looking for an extra a $500 or $1,000 a month that I could just spend on my kids on the weekends, just spoil them on the weekends. My kids were going through, dad being gone all the time, going to school as well, right? It's a family thing when you make the decision as an adult, but they were little. My son was just born. The girls were probably around 2 years old and 3 years old. So it was a good time to go back to school and get that over with and start a new career. But that's when I was introduced to this industry. And even though I was just looking for a way to make an extra $500 or $1,000 a month, it didn't take me long to figure out that this is a whole lot more. I was introduced to doors that I didn't know existed. I was meeting people from all over the country and all over the world that were sharing unbelievable stories and great incomes and great lifestyles. And I just knew that I had to be a part of it. And I dove in with everything that I had. I didn't have a lot of knowledge or experience or any understanding about marketing and all the stuff that we do. But I knew that I was teachable and I knew that I could make up for what I didn't know with effort, right? So that's exactly what I did. And I graduated school, got my degree, went to work at the airport right away with letters of recommendation. I got a job really quick, but I was only at that airport for about 8 months. And I was sitting at the kitchen table having a cup of coffee one morning. And I said, I'm having too much fun and making too much money at this side business to go clock in at work and turn a wrench anymore. And I went in, I gave my boss a 3-week notice, and he was so upset about that he told me if I meant it, I could leave today. So I shook his hand, grabbed my toolbox, and I left that day. That was 35 years ago, and it turned out to be the best decision of my life. And so what this industry's done for me, like I said earlier, it opened up doors I didn't know existed, right? The income was amazing, but what it gave me was time freedom. I mean, I got to spend more time with my kids. And financial freedom. It means I can take my kids anywhere I want to go. And as a parent, you go on vacation, you swipe that credit card a bunch of times and you go home feeling guilty going, oh, I got to make the payments on this card now, right? I never had that worry ever again since I joined this industry. The time freedom and the financial freedom gave me the lifestyle, the dream lifestyle. And a lot of you dads are going to get this right away. And moms too. I was the dad that got to put my kids on the bus, take my kids off the bus, go to every football practice from the time he was in Pee Wee football when the helmet was bigger than him to all the way up through high school football. I went to every volleyball camp and every volleyball practice and every volleyball game because I had a daughter that played volleyball. And I went to every cheer practice and cheer camp because I had a daughter that was a cheerleader. And I was that crazy dad on the sidelines with the pom-poms, and shaking them around and learning the cheers and making the girls all laugh and have fun. So it just gave me more time to spend with my kids. And when the high school needed a bowling coach because they were forming a new travel league in the bowling league for the high school, I raised my hand and offered to be their coach because I love bowling anyway. And I was teaching my kids how to bowl anyway. And my daughter was on the bowling team. So guess who became the bowling coach for the high school? Why? Because I could. And it gave me more time to spend with my kids because my kids are my entire world, right? Now, my kids are making me grandbabies. So it's a whole nother world. And I'm having a blast doing it. But for 35 years, that's the life that I got to live. Time freedom and financial freedom because I employed myself and I dove into a system that we had back then. And I became a student of that system and a student of this industry. And I just gave it everything I have. I gave myself more than I ever gave any other employer. And that's another thing I want you guys to think about. If you worked as hard for yourself as you did for a boss, that was writing you the paycheck that's about a tenth of what you could be earning if you're doing it for yourself, then the sky's the limit for you. 35 years ago, I got involved. I was advertising all over the nation, doing a mail order program and advertising in the top 300 newspapers. And I needed a voicemail that would take all of that volume. so I could do it all at once. I needed one voicemail instead of 20. And everybody told me I needed to talk to this young guy named Rory Rickard, who was working for a telecom company out in Utah. So I finally got a hold of him and got him on the phone, tell him what I needed. I met this young man with a lot of passion about what he had, a love for mass communication, but a lot of passion to teach other people about his system and help all of the other entrepreneurs out there, as many as he can. He did give me the voicemail that I needed, but listen to this. As he was teaching me how to use that voicemail, he showed me how, as I built a network of people around the country, I could put one message on that system and shoot it out to everybody at the same time. And then they could all listen to it at their leisure. It doesn't sound like much today, but this was in 1992. In 1992, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have email or text messaging or any of the technology we had today. But we did have this young man with a software brain and a love for mass communication that figured out how to do that before we had all this technology. And that's how Rory and I met. We became friends over the telephone. Another year went by, I think, and I found out that he was attending the same event that I was attending in Miami. So I went to that event, looked for him, had dinner with him. And of course, it was South Beaches. So we had a drink on the beach watching the sunset, because that's what you do in the South Beaches, Miami, right? And we talked about our lives and our children and our dreams and our goals and, everything that we wanted to accomplish. But I realized that day, this guy really cares about every relationship that he has and every business partner that he has, and he nurtures all of them. But he's one of those people who looks you in the eyes when they're talking to you or you're talking to them, never looks away, never seems sidetracked. He really wants to know what makes you tick. He really wants to know how he can help you. And when you shake someone's hand and look in their eyes that first time, you really feel that energy. I knew that I wanted to be a part of his life for the rest of my life. I knew I wanted him in my life for the rest of my life. I had no idea what was going to happen. I had no idea we were going to do all the wonderful things that we did over the years. But I've been here for 35 years and I've known him for a little over 30 years now. For 30 years, I've just paid attention to everything he said, because he loves to teach everything that he learns. As he learns it, he loves to teach us. So I'm a sponge when it comes to learning something more that's going to help me have a better quality of life, right? And give me the ability to help other people. Over the years, we've done incredible things. We've made millions of dollars together. We have marketed so many different products from A to Z, everything you could think about. We've probably been a part of it. And we've had a great time doing it. When the internet came out in 1993, 94, that's when it started hitting all of our desktops and countertops. And you remember the monitors that were about this big, and it took two people to carry it in the house and put it on the counter. That's when we got involved. I had a 286 on dial-up. That's my introduction to the internet. But when the internet came out, that's when Rory really found his niche. He jumped online. He became the first guru. He started several lead generation companies, and they became very successful. They still are today. He was number one out there. Nobody can produce the quantity or quality of leads that he could produce. And he did everything right. He nurtured every relationship. His model for those companies were under promise and over deliver. And that's what he always did every single year. And it just got better and better. A few years after his lead generation success, he got online, he started building websites. It was the one-page thing, and then the second generation, 2-page things, then 3 pages. And it just kept evolving and getting better and getting better. About 16 years ago, I put together a system we're looking at today called the Performance Blogging System, which is one page that has 100 pages inside of it that all represent different products or services, relevant products or services that we get to take to the marketplace and have a positive impact on other people's lives while we're building ourselves incredible business. What we did 30 years ago is incredible. What we've done over time is incredible. But what we have right now is just unbelievable. We've never had it as good as we have it right now. And the new additions and the changes and the expansion and everything that just happened, for you 16 new people, you're really in the right place at the right time, because the changes that have happened just over the last couple of weeks have done nothing more but Rory and his wife Tanya to find more ways to put more money in your pocket. So after meeting Rory and the incredible things that I've done, I also got to meet our co-founder. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear from her tonight, but you will. Never miss a Tuesday night call. You will hear from her. I got to fly out to Utah and meet her for the first time, and I realized something. I walked in the door and I met this young lady that was raising 7 children, running several other businesses, and helping Rory put this together. As he was bringing people in, she was helping train them and put the whole system together. And I never met a more organized person in my life. She's the one that keeps everything on time, on track, on schedule, every minute, every hour, every week. And she plans things 2 years in advance, and they're always on time. I knew right then that this was a power couple that was going to become well known in this country and probably around the world. And I remember something that Jim Rohn said to me: the true legends on this planet are people who find the most ways to service other people. To me, that's the definition of Rory and Tanya. They've sacrificed their time, their life, and so many things to build a system that allows us to go around the globe and touch other families, stomp out poverty in different corners, give people a lift up wherever we can, help people achieve whatever their dreams and goals are, get out of the rat race and work for themselves, and or maybe just supplement your income like I did. Whatever you're here for, if you're here to just make an extra $500 or $1,000 a month, you found the right place. If you're here to build something that's going to become your new career and do this full time, like myself and Linda and Stacy with the green light on wherever she went, and a lot of other people that are here, then you found the right place. We've got the system, we've got the tools, we've got marketing and leads that are paid for by Rory and Tanya and their lead generation companies. All the friction points of running a business have been taken away by these two people. And I love every Tuesday night having the opportunity to let you, 16 all new people every week, know exactly who you're getting in business with. The 2 people who wake up every morning, have a cup of coffee, have a meeting and say, what can we do to make this better for Ann? What can we add to the system to help people make more money and get to wherever their goals are even faster? What can we put in here that's even more relevant to society, that's going to help get more traffic to their pages? That's who you guys are in business with today. And it's my pleasure to introduce at least one of them to you right now. My brother, one of our co-founders, the leader, the software brain behind everything that I told you in the beginning, Mr. Rory Rickard. The microphone is yours. We can't wait to hear what you're going to share tonight and any guests that you may have on board. Fantastic. I hope you can hear me. Your microphone works, and take it away.
You can hear me, right?
There you are. Okay.
Yeah, you know how it is when you like take your computer, you go travel, you come back and get it all set up again. You hope everything is going to work. It's perfect again. And I know you know what I'm talking about because you just did the same thing.
I do.
Okay, guys, I always welcome. We do this call for you guys on Tuesday. It's where we can actually talk to everybody at once. And I was taking the time to go through as Niall does the intro, and we have new people every week, and we really want to make sure people know exactly how things run here so that we can give you the confidence to go to work. I did a very awesome update. I'm going to share the link. It's RRR247.com/update, UPDATE. That is the compilation of the trainings we did last week. I even put the training that we had from our awesome partner in training with you guys, Anthony Powell, who's just here to help. He's part of a lot of our building directions with the marketing. And you guys, we get to have very seasoned professionals come share with you. And we do that on Tuesdays. I have another one. I have an expert that I'm bringing on today. But I'm going to just bring up that update. Thanks, Niall, for putting that link on there. Again, RRR247.com/update. And that training, if you missed Saturday or you missed last Tuesday or you missed both, and if you haven't really seen the vision of what this is completely, that update's for you. That update is for you and the directions we're going. And I'm just going to just point out a couple of things as we're rounding out the year and going to 2023. I just came back from a working retreat up in very cold, very snowy, beautiful lake area in East Canyon, Utah here. And it was very awesome what we got done and where we're going on stuff and the legal reviews and the directions. We're making really good headway for the new programs we're launching that fall under the DTC Ambassador Program. We'll be talking more about that. And, stay tuned at the end of this. I got some questions that came in. I'm going to walk you guys through what that means and what to take advantage of now. Next week, we have a very big call. I'm not even going to tell you what it is. If anybody here wants an update on the crypto directions we're on, don't miss next Tuesday. If you don't know what crypto is, don't miss next Tuesday. If you want to see what we have and how we're going to create more income streams, don't miss next Tuesday. Okay. Don't miss any Tuesday. Okay, guys, we were going to have him on. He was actually, I've been wanting him on here for years. I'll put it that way. And I've been trying to get everything done in our VIP platform with the new update, and we just keep rolling out new things and the directions. It's freaking incredible. This is Tanya and I's CPA of many years. And I gave you guys a little bit of a history on how we got connected there, but this is, I want to bring on Rob. We are going to be sharing his talents with the entire RRR family that want to take advantage of it. I have some amazing notes we're going to go over. I'm going to bring him on here. He is absolutely a great fit for our entire family here. I get a kick out of going to his office. He's a big Star Wars fan. He's been involved with, I'll just put this out there. You guys know we have the Tune product, right? I mean, I'm wearing mine. I think everybody's wearing theirs. So he's like me. I got crystals and things all over. He has them in his office, and he's such our guy. I gotta tell you, like-minded, but I could talk to him forever. And I just want you guys to know he gets what we're doing, but there's some fundamental things, in running a successful business. And you want to know who your bankers are. That's changed a lot, right? A lot of us have, the online banking world has just changed. And it's really hard to seem like you get a good manager, and then they transfer them to another state. It's really hard in that world. You need a really good accountant. And you want to have attorneys as you're getting bigger to make sure things are done right. Well, we've got the legal side coming together even bigger for us. This is the CPA that you guys are all going to want to use. I'm going to have him come on. He's the expert that's going to speak on stuff. You guys all know I am not a CPA. I am not a tax advisor. I am not a financial advisor, right? I teach you guys what I do on the online marketing, but Tanya and I go to professionals. I want you guys to have the same access to that. And I got to tell you, Tanya and I have been wanting Rob to do this with you guys for a long time. I'm glad to bring him on now. Rob, I'm going to bring you on and we'll go back and forth a little bit. This is not the only time you'll be hearing from him, but take copious notes, okay? I know a lot of you have no clue on how you get your taxes done properly. A lot of you have never had a business before, and you've been a W-2 employee. We need to go over some stuff. So Rob, I'm going to bring you on. And we're going to do it in this fun way. Sort of fun. It's the immersive view. There we go. Oh, okay. I don't hear you. We got to unmute you.
Okay, you there? Can you hear me?
There. And I love that shirt. You picked the perfect shirt for tonight. You guys know how we are here, and I got to tell you, when you work with fellow Christians that do things right, it's just nice. And I got to tell you, Rob, we have had nothing but pleasure with you for all the years. You get the stuff done. You're straightforward. You've never wasted our time. And I do like our long conversations when we ever get to have them, because the philosophy you have in mind, we're in sync. And I think we're going to help do a lot of great things in this world. And I'm really glad you guys, he understands a lot of the programs we're doing. I talked to him about the education path. He'll be part of a lot of this stuff and understanding. But Rob, today, I want you to go over some of the stuff on the basis of the tax. We'll talk about corporations a little bit, go back and forth. And then I've already, just so you know, we have our instructor, right? Like the process we have our MSIs, PSIs, GSIs, CSIs. We have a very strong organization for training and support. So we want to make sure we know how they need to work with you. We already have a Trello board that is called Tax Time. That's Rob's company. And we're going to line up everybody there that wants to get a consultation and wants to go this path. But Rob, let's just open the dialogue. You guys, he's available for consultations December to March.
Well, yeah, consultations generally December through January, and then May through the end of the year, just so I get through tax season. But for the most part, yeah, I love consulting with people. I love talking, and thank you about the shirt.
Yes.
No, I love talking with people about their businesses, because I find that one of the biggest misconceptions out there is that everyone fits into one mold. And we don't believe that. I've been at Tax Time now for 30 years. I'm the president of the company. It is a CPA firm. I am not a CPA. I'm an SRTP. I went government credentials instead of the private credentials, but we do have CPAs in the office.
I probably should correct. So what are your letters again?
SRTP. So, yeah, I years ago I had to either give up college or well, let's just put it this way: supporting my family and multiple other people at the time, there really wasn't an option. And I put my brother through college, and he's going to be one of the CPAs here pretty soon, and he's sitting for the exam. And so, but I went through the government routes. I took the government exams on my own volition to keep up current, and I'm licensed according to the government in all 50 states, which is wonderful. Instead of just being only able to operate in the state of Utah. But getting back to that, every person's entity needs to be tailor-made to their individual circumstances. To say everyone needs to be either an LLC or a sole proprietor or a corporation is kind of it's a disservice to the individuals, because everyone needs to have their corporation or their LLC or whatever it is tailor-made to fit their individual needs. And so that's what we do. That's why I love doing the consultations with people, is if I can look at your taxes, I can talk with you. We can take a route that'll best serve you. And Rory's got a great legal team to help set up those entities for you that we can, tailor make to really save as much money as we can, keep as much money out of the government as we can, because, if you're like me, I feel like the government takes more than their fair share, and they do not need any more money to waste. We need the money to survive, especially nowadays with the way the economy is. We need every dime we can save to support our families.
So I want you guys to know kind of the process, right? That you'll do a consultation. I want everybody to do the consultation, because you might have rental properties, you might have, all these other businesses. He understands the business concepts like we have here, where everybody's got 1099s coming in for the various programs we market. But you might have pensions or retirement funds. You might have other things in your life going on. And the more they know, the more they can structure things appropriately, because not all things fit everybody, like you said. And without giving the advice, let me just explain how this goes. You're going to talk to him. He's going to recommend a corporate structure that then Jim and the legal team will get you guys set up with. And then he'll know how to correspond it, because there's different taxes that need to be filed for businesses and corporations and your personal. And you guys, Rob takes care of all of it. Like, we just give him all of our stuff. He's amazing. But for those that have never done this before, Rob, let's explain. We have a lot of people here that have never had a corporation. They've never been in business before they came to us. It's not a scary new thing. It's just, you got a structured thing to take advantage of how it works. Can you go into that a little bit?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, people hear the word incorporating or organizing, and it's very foreign to them. It's very scary for them. And to be honest with you, to start off with, it is a little intimidating, but it's actually really quite simple once you get into the whole of it. That people, once you understand what you're doing, then you can start making the right decisions to benefit you. So it's kind of hard to explain. Like Rory said, I mean, rental properties, I mean, depending on the type of rental property you'd want, it may be a corporation, it may be an LLC, depending on how you're running it, corporations and organizations. And that's what I love. And I provide that free consultation because I want people to understand that they have someone in the wings that can help give them solid advice without taking advantage of it. I don't believe that. I believe in karma. I believe that what goes around comes around. And my company has not advertised for probably 15 years now because we just haven't needed to. I've worked with many other CPA firms in the past. And for the most part, I'll be honest with you, I don't agree with a good chunk of them. I don't agree with how they run everybody. Everyone fits into their mold. That's not the way we operate at Tax Time. So corporations, you have many different types of corporations. You have C Corps, you have S Corps. You may even have LLCs that are corporations. And what I love to tell people is just because someone tells you need to be an LLC, because that's what they are, that does not necessarily reflect what they really truly are. An LLC term is just it's like the fad. It's like the thing to say because everyone knows what an LLC is. And everyone thinks an LLC is more beneficial. However, though, in a lot of cases, an LLC can actually cost you more in taxes. The other great thing about LLCs is they can incorporate, they can switch their election. So depending on what you're trying to accomplish, how much money you're making is a big factor in what you're trying to do. Will determine, whether or not your corporation. I like to tell people all the time, if I had 100 people walk into my office and all of them said that they were LLCs, probably about 50% of them would be true bona fide LLCs. They would be something else. Just because they incorporate or organize in the state that they're in under a certain thing, that doesn't mean that that's how they're taxed through the IRS. So I don't know if that answers your question, Rory, but
it does. And okay, so I got some questions coming to me. So you guys, can you explain to them what an LLC is versus like an S corporation? And okay. I think we just talked about those two. I'll tell you guys as far as how we've done stuff. We have LLCs for certain reasons, and we have S corps for certain reasons. And not everybody needs multiple, okay? But it's really good to have the knowledge and understanding because knowledge is power, right? You don't know what you don't know. And even if you think you don't need to know this information and you're here to create good wealth, you need to know this information. Like this is something they do not teach in school unless you go to like an actual like accounting school to learn about this. This is something that should be, in my opinion, should be standard financial core training that everybody gets through high school. Because
What I love about that, Rory, I love when you said that because years ago I was looking through the IRS handbook and I found about 3 pages, and in 18,000 pages, 3 pages that dealt with S corporations. The government doesn't really want you knowing much about them. An S corporation does file its own taxes. It does not pay its own taxes. All the profits or losses filter to the personal side to be taxed. A C corporation is, on the other hand, does pay its own taxes. But the problem with the C corporation, if it's run incorrectly, it could have a double taxation, not only on the corporate side, on the personal side. And I don't particularly like working with them a whole lot. LLCs, a true bona fide LLC it's called a limited liability company. And it limits the liability to the company. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I don't pretend to be a lawyer. But with every lawyer I've ever talked to, I've asked them what the legal ramifications are between a corporation and an LLC. And they say that they're virtually identical. I honestly don't know, but I have seen in many cases in lawsuits with S corporations where the S corporation did save everything on the personal side. So, I mean, there is some good protection there if it's set up right and if it's run properly. That's the key right there. It's like everything, like House of Cards, if you pull one card out, the whole thing can collapse. So we want to make sure that you're running properly, you're set up properly, and you're going. LLCs are great. I do like LLCs, don't get me wrong. I think they have a place in life, but like I said, depending on the type of business that you are running will really determine whether or not to be an LLC or an S corporation. And you have multiple different types of LLCs. You have sole proprietor LLCs, like Rory's talking about, that all these LLCs actually filter into a corporation. They're solely owned by a corporation. That's great to have. There's multiple layers of legal protection from my understanding. Like I said, I'm not a lawyer, not giving legal advice, but I love seeing that. LLCs, if they have partners, they follow their own tax return, much like an S corporation would. The difference between really an S corporation and LLC is, one, an S corporation, you become an employee of the business. And a lot of people don't understand that concept, that you are an employee, meaning you have to take a wage depending on your profits, a W-2 wage. Whereas a true bona fide LLC, it's actually illegal to take a W-2. You take draws or guaranteed payments out of that business through an LLC, and which are taxed at the end of the year, and they're subject to the maximum amount of Social Security taxes or self-employment taxes. That's the way I like to put it. A great example is, let's say you make $50,000 through an LLC. The self-employment tax is 15.3%. So through an LLC, you're going to be paying your federal and state taxes after your deductions, personal deductions. But on an LLC, you're going to be paying the Social Security on that gross amount before your personal deductions. So on $50,000, you're going to be paying roughly $7,600 in Social Security taxes, which I think is garbage, because what is Social Security? It is just a legalized Ponzi scheme. That's all Social Security is. It's something that may or may not be there when we get to that age. I'm not planning on it. I've got another 20 years before I even come close to, well, actually it's 20 years before I can even take it, but I don't plan on not being there. I don't think it can sustain itself. Both S Corps and LLCs have a federal identification number. I like to refer to those as like their own personal Social Security numbers. So, because someone had a question about an EIN. The S corporations, however, they'll take that same $50,000 and you split it between two different types of income. You take either loans, and then we reclassify them at the end of the year as a dividend declaration, because you're entitled to profits of the business, and you take a wage. The great thing is how do we determine the wage? Well, the IRS doesn't really determine that unless you get audited, and you get an auditor that says you have to pay this much. And I have seen the craziest audits when it comes to payroll. They make no sense. So what we do is we like to take an average of like a 2/5 split, meaning you take a $20,000 W-2, a $30,000 dividend, a profit on that same 50. You pay $3,060 in Social Security taxes versus $7,650. You save $4,590. That is the long and short of an S corporation versus an LLC. However, I'm speaking a lot, and I'm probably speaking a lot of Greek. It's like a foreign language to a lot of people. If you are making only a little bit of money and you have a large family, anything under $30,000, in my opinion, and if you're not an LLC, I mean, if you're anything but an LLC, and that's all you're planning on making is about 30 grand a year, and you have 3 or 4 kids at home, you don't want to miss out on the earned income credits that the government provides. Those will counteract the self-employment taxes. But if you're only making 30 grand a year and you're happy with that, good on you. I don't know how you're able to support your family. If you're going into business for yourself, you're going in to make good money to support your family and to give them the life that you either want, you didn't have, or you want them to have. And so depending on what your expectations are in the future will also determine how we set up that entity, or have Rory's legal team set up that entity. And I'm happy to talk with you before you get into that.
I'm getting a lot of questions, and you guys, this is why we're bringing him on. I told you we're gonna have him on again and again and again to explain this. This is, I gotta tell you, right? We're dealing with government stuff, which means it's complicated on purpose. It's not straightforward, easy. Like, I used to think I knew it all because I talked to a guy once and he explained some stuff to me, and then I actually found out by reading tax code, because I like to read stuff, that what he said wasn't making sense. This is why you need an expert behind this stuff to go there. And depending where you're trying to go and what your strategies you want to be, and I'm getting a lot of questions on this, so I'm gonna go there. That's why we have Jim to handle the legal side. We have Rob to handle the tax side, and they'll work together to make sure that you're structured for what you say you want to do or what you need to do. And this is a fun thing, because I know there's people, and this is why I wanted to start bringing this up sooner. If you're going into this and you think you're never going to make any money, then you're not doing the work we gave you, right? We have a process that can work for anybody. The question is, when you start making those profits, how are you going to protect yourself so you're not paying too much to the government? A lot of people without the knowledge for how to structure themselves and take advantage of the structures that are available in the corporate world are going to pay the most amount of tax possible. That doesn't mean that's what you should pay. That means that if you didn't have the knowledge to set it up differently and protect yourself, you're going to pay far more than you would otherwise. Far more. You guys, employees that are a W-2 employee pays the most tax possible. They don't get a write-off stuff. They pay on the gross amount. And it literally, you know, I've heard a lot of experts say that taxes are a penalty for people that don't learn about corporations. And the corporate structure it's the same rules everybody gets. It's just knowledge applied makes a difference. And we're all independent contractors. We're all working for 1099s and bringing money in. We're not doing anything that's a W-2 contractor thing with what we teach you guys. It's all, you know, affiliate based. You're getting a 1099. If you have 1099 income coming to yourself directly, you're going to pay more taxes, Rob. Prices that you're probably paying more taxes than if you were set up with a corporation. And if you're planning on making money, which everybody here should be planning on making money, you should be saying, no one goes into business to fail. Go into business to succeed. And if you're going to succeed, what does that look like? And what do I need to protect on that? And if I'm going to be reinvesting my money in my business and constantly growing, I want to make sure that I'm protected right for that, which is why I go to get advice from experts to help structure that. So that's why we brought Rob on. And Rob, you're going to help with their taxes every year. We're gonna, you know, and it's a very simple process with Rob. So
yeah,
go ahead, Rob.
I was going to say, yeah, we can work at many different ways on preparing the taxes. I mean, I have prepared now taxes in all 50 states. I have clients all around the United States. A lot of my clients will mail me, email me, fax me, any way they can give me the information. I love to talk to people. So if you're not in Utah and we can't meet in person and we have to do it, you know, over the phone or via Zoom or whatever it is, you know, the more I get to know you, the more my staff gets to know you, the better we can serve you and help you, because you'd be surprised how many people that I meet with on a consistent basis, just in chatting with them, will say something that triggers a whole different conversation that leads into a whole different way of doing things, which benefits them. So if you're not talking with your accountant, if you're not talking with your tax preparer, you're doing yourself a disservice by not discussing things with them. That's just the way I feel about it.
So I'm gonna, you guys, the best businesses do what we do with our students, which is the BRT, right? Build relationship and trust. That's what we teach. Rob that's who he is too. And his entire staff, they're just that way naturally. I think that's why I liked him so much from the beginning. That and you know, they understand small business so well that, you know, when the stuff that anybody here, I don't think is going to deal with anything he hasn't seen before. I get a lot of weird questions about, like, I'll bring this up there, and they're not weird. I'll say this. I'm actually not surprised. We have a lot of very educated people here. We have other, you know, people that deal with stuff. Here's what I've found out. Our awesome community in general do not know, or are they aware of how taxes absolutely work when you're not a W-2. They've never dealt with it before. That's why we've got to protect you. You know, I have the knowledge. I get to utilize it. I'm sharing who we deal with, so you guys can have the same access that Tanya and I have had, and it's been amazing. You know, we deal with a lot of different things, and having an expert that you can talk to that is going to help you and guide you, and you're going to get it down where you're going to learn how to work with Rob and how to send the information over when it comes time for taxes, and, you know, whether you're filing extensions or whatever your strategy is going to be, he's there to help you do all that. And that's why it is good to have a consultation. Now, to get a consultation, I'm getting this question right now. Everybody wants to know how to do it. Let your instructor know. They go create a card for you on our tax time thing. And then from there, we're going to either have a reach out or we'll tell you when to start calling in. It's December. It's the 6th of December. Getting a corporation set up is going to take a little bit of time, but if they get it set up by the end of the year, Rob, do they get to take credit for the whole year?
So that is a great question. So yes, the long and short of it is yes. I don't really care what the IRS paperwork states. If you go with an S corporation, when you incorporate, just so you're all aware, and people should know this, when you incorporate by default in all 50 states, you are a C corporation by default. It is a separate election. Basically, you're asking permission to be taxed as an S corporation with the government. Now, typically, if you incorporate, let's say December 15th, and you send off your S corp paperwork and you want to be effective as the day you incorporated, which is December 15th, the IRS paperwork comes back and says that's when you're in effect and that's when you should start. However, though, in speaking with the IRS on numerous occasions, the IRS does not want you filling out an S corporation or a Schedule C and an LLC or whatever. They want you to, if you're applying to be an S corporation, they want you to file for the whole year under that entity. So even though some of the paperwork says one thing, the IRS personally says a totally different thing. And that's the way we've been running it for years, and it's worked out great. We've never had an issue in 30 years that we've been doing this.
So for those of you that have done pretty well with stuff and you've got the revenues coming in, setting up a corporation now for this year makes sense. And I'm trying to think how to streamline this for you, Rob. So we have the Trello board. We'll put them in there. Do we have a calendar that we can set appointments on?
That I got to work on. Got to figure out. I mean, right now my schedule's pretty open. I'll be honest with you.
All right. So if we put them, so we can put them in there. I'll give you access to that board if I haven't already. I think I did. Here, let me look. Did I send you the Trello information already?
I believe you did. I can't remember. I've been like out of it for the last month. I got a little sick.
Yeah, I know. That's why we did this. Okay, so yeah, we've got people in there already. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, probably one of the best things to do is to really just blow up my phone at my office or email my secretary. She actually handles all my appointments and everything that I do. If I make an appointment, I tend to, because that's not my kind of thing, I screw it up, where she's great at scheduling everything. And if you want, I can give you the information and the phone number to contact her.
Is it the same one I use?
The front desk at slctax.com. Yep.
Yeah, so I'll put that on there. So I want to streamline it just a little bit. So we'll put them, guys. I want to know everybody that's getting the consultation over there. We want to make sure everybody's getting the contact, and we'll go over there. And maybe in the future we'll add a calendar process. Right now we'll just have them call in. So we'll have them call or email. We'll have them email probably first.
Yeah, email or call. I mean, either way works.
Okay. So here's what we're gonna do is, okay, guys. So everybody here, if you want to get a consultation lined up, let your instructor know so they can follow our protocols, get you added to that board. Okay. Then Saturday, first thing Saturday morning, I'll walk you guys through the contact protocol for that. And then everybody that's in there currently, I'll make sure you guys we'll notify everybody. I'll let the MSIs know that the protocol to let everybody else there know, and we can start sending the contact in there. But we want to make sure everybody's in Trello first, so that we're creating a working process there. And mainly because if we're going to need help set up corporations or Jim's going to get involved, we want to be organized in it, right? You guys how it is, and we keep it organized, we keep the costs down. So we're trying to be very, very efficient. I'll tell you as far as, so if anybody wants to get a setup this year, let's make that a priority. If you're looking at for next year, wait till Saturday. I'll go over the instructions. You can still set up an appointment, but let's kind of pave the road and let our members here that want to get set up this year go first. Because I want them to talk to Rob before Jim sets up a corporation, because Rob's going to know what the tax situation looks like. We have multiple heads of experts. Let's let them work together on this. I'll tell you guys, like, there's a lot of questions you're going to have, and that's why it's really good to go with things with Rob. A lot of people have different situations. The more he understands your financial goals, directions, and everything that's going on, the better. Okay. For those of you that are brand new and you're like, well, I don't have any money coming in yet, you can wait till next year. It's not a big deal. I just want you to have the understanding of it now. And I'll also tell you that there's an amazing thing about mental growth when you plan for it and put things in motion. You know, a thought's a powerful thing. And I'll tell you, one of the biggest challenges on getting a corporation set up is what you're going to name it. So you might want to have some names of corporations being thought of. Make sure you can do a lookup and make sure there's nothing, anybody has that same name. Jim's gonna have to do a reference on it. But it's one of those things when you declare I'm a corporation, it's like saying I'm really in business. I'm really in business. I'm setting myself up to build big. I'm setting myself up to protect myself so I can grow big. You guys remember, we're marketers, right? Marketing, you want to be behind a corporate veil. We have a lot of things that identify us, but you want extra protections that corporations get. You want that. I cannot tell you how many times things have come up and being behind a company just gives you that extra security. Anybody that's looking to go big in business, you need to be incorporated. And that's based on every advice I've ever been given. I've never had one person tell me, oh, yeah, don't even worry about a corporation, ever. I've never been told that. So it's one of those things to know and understand. You don't have to take action right now. That's why, and I don't want you getting 400 calls tomorrow anyway. But you guys, we have a lot of people coming through here, and we're going to make this a steady process that as they get up and get going, and they're building their marketing and they're building their income streams, that we make them aware of, hey, you probably should look at some corporate structure. Go get, and you should get your taxes done right. I have a lot of people here that are learning about, you know, manifestation and putting stuff forward. Your attitude and your actions you take, you pick your future. And if you declare, hey, I'm going to do this right, I'm going to go big, I'm going to set up a company. You guys, we're doing it at an amazing value. And I don't know, I probably should go into this, you guys. Rob's tax costs are so below market, and he has a really good philosophy on it, and I appreciate it. But you guys, it's amazing the value you get, and again, he's an expert. You guys, he's been doing this about as long as I've been doing marketing. This is his expertise, right? This is what he does. This is what he knows, right? He has literally forgotten more than anybody probably in the world learning is gone, right? He's like me. We're old in our industry. That's who you want to work for. You want experts. And, you know, I had people ask me a couple questions here, like, is he aggressive? Is he conservative? He follows the entire tax code. He knows it better than anybody I ever met in taxes. That's what you use him for. He's the expert in it. He keeps up with it, and it does change all the time. And he knows so much, you guys, and that's why you have a consultation, right? And it's, you know, I'm gonna just put out a couple more things here, and we're wrapping up towards the day. But you know, if you don't need a corporation by the end of this year, start thinking about it for next year, and you can file it next year whenever you're ready, if that's what you want to do, right? Or you can wait. But if you tell yourself, I'm really in business, it might change your attitude to how much you show up to do your marketing and do the stuff you need to do to build your income. You know, I've always been told, and Rob, I'll put this, like, if you're making $3,000 a month in 1099 income, you better have already had your corporation set up. That's what I've been told. If you're making, like, you know, hundreds of dollars a month, I can get sort of on there, but still the liability and protections you get from a corporation are well worth it. And we're not talking a big deal to do the filings. I think I've had people say, like, if I have a company and then I need to get the CPA, it's going to cost me thousands of dollars a month. Yeah, you guys, it doesn't even cost us thousands of dollars a year for what Rob does for us. We have lots of entities. So I don't know if you want to go over, like, some pricing, some ballpark stuff. But you guys, some people are going to need more stuff. It's going to cost more for more. But basics.
Yeah, I would love to give you some pricing on what we do. Like here in Utah, obviously here in Utah, it's different than, say, in California, you know, some other places, New York, and what we charge, because here in Utah, our overhead, even though it's rising, it's still lower than the national average in a lot of cases. The average corporation, the max that I charge is right around $450 a year. That's what I max out. I consider my major competitors H&R Block, Jackson Hewlett, Liberty. The ones here in Utah that I've worked with, they start theirs at over 700, which I think is ridiculous. So that's what you're looking at for corporate return. A maximum average personal return I do runs around $250 a year. That's the average. A little more, but you're looking right around $600 to $700 a year to annual filings. Now, if you need payroll services or other things like that, that's different, and we'll talk about that. But for the most part, most of my clients don't need that. They could just run the payroll on their own. We help them with the quarterlies, or they do it themselves. But it's mainly tax apps that people need, and they worry that it's going to cost them an arm and a leg. It shouldn't. I went to a seminar back in 2003 in Colorado, and they kind of found out what we were charging. And we've had since then, back then, our max corporations started they maxed out at around $375. And so we've gone up $70 in the last 20 years in our corporate fees. And back then they said we were grossly underpriced. And they want to know why we were doing what we were doing and why we were charging what we were charging. And our response was, look, we deal with small businesses exclusively. We deal with mom and pop businesses. They can't afford these high-powered, high-priced, accountants and tax firms that do the same work that we do. And if I would rather do a lot of little businesses than a couple of very large ones. One, because I get to know people. I like people. I like to get to know them. And they're the ones that really need the help. It's people like you that run America. And I don't think people really understand that. It's the small businesses that provide the most meaning to the economy. And if I'm overcharging on my prices, what good is that to you? What good? I mean, personally, I like to go home and sleep at night, that I've done a good job for a fair price. Like I said, a lot of my competitors think my prices are way too low. I disagree. So that's just kind of the way we operate. I want to make sure that you are in a position where you can succeed, because if you succeed, I succeed, we all succeed, and we can make America great again.
And I'm seeing your guys' comments. I told you he's our people. I mean, you guys attract likes. I've always liked work with Rob, but you guys, what we do and the way we streamline it, I got to tell you, before Rob, I used a firm that was recommended by attorneys I worked with at the time, and experts that were in the marketing or the internet space. The internet was, a new frontier. We're in it. And I used this firm that was out of the World Trade Center in Long Beach, California. They supposedly had the edge on the internet law, okay, and taxation. So I deal with that. But you guys, I was spending $1,500 a month for their services, and that was their corporate thing. And I didn't need any of the stuff they did. I ran a simple thing, just like we do now. I had 1099s that came in from my clients that we worked for in the different programs and the affiliate side, and like to do the bookkeeping. Tammy does the bookkeeping for our stuff, and I'm gonna have her show you guys how she does the bookkeeping. You guys all put everything pretty much on credit cards. You have receipts that way. Our expenses we all pretty much know what our expenses are. It's not like we have this complicated world anymore. Everything is electronic. Everything has a paper trail that's already easy to pull down, and you just got to submit your expenses for marketing, advertising, travel, all those things broken down. And Rob does his magic, which is he knows how the taxes stuff work. I think he files everything electronically. I would say weird. It's awesome to me because I know, but he doesn't charge differently because you live in a different state. The tax code is the tax code, right? And whether I think the only difference is whether you got to pay state taxes or not, right? Rob, it's pretty simple, right?
Oh yeah, yes. I mean, I said, really, taxation is all about just understanding. And once you understand it, it becomes simple. I don't know how to explain it, other than a lot of people get nervous, to be honest with you, that everything we're talking about, because it is like a foreign language. And I don't know how many of you out there of you are bilingual. I'm actually bilingual. I speak English, obviously, and I'm fluent in Filipino. But then I also like to say that I'm fluent in tax, which is so I say I'm trilingual. Once you understand the tax code, well, not necessarily the tax code, once you understand the simple terminology, it can explode from there. And to be honest with you, I know Tanya does your books. That's great. I actually try to discourage hiring out someone to do your bookkeeping because most accountants are not going to give you a fair price on that. So, and if you want, my company also we can email you instead of going out and buying QuickBooks or Quicken or whatever. If you like those, that's great. That's no problem. But I have an Excel sheet that gives you categories that all you got to do is populate in your income, populate in the expenses. And if you have additional expenses, you can add to it. But we can send that to you for free that you can just automatically use time and time again to calculate things. And I've had a great response from that. And we provide that for free as well because who doesn't like free, right? And simplicity.
Yeah, I got to tell you, and this is your first time to hear Rob. I've been talking about it. I've been threatening it for a while, but this is a real solution, right? That fits our core values and everything. And we're gonna just have this be the streamlined direction that we support. And you guys, everybody has their own freedom to use whoever they want for their taxes. We're not gonna force anybody. This is what's worked for us for a long time, and we wanted to open up and share this. And Rob agreed to take on the family here to help out. And it's when you can do it at an amazing value, and you guys, they do an amazing job, and it's and the structure. And I think we probably can have we can have you do your worksheet. We can just walk people through that. You guys, what I wanted to point out was keeping track of your expenses is so much easier than it used to be.
Amen.
And when I used to do it, guys, I was incorporated when I was 14, and I had to keep track of everything. And they didn't have internet banking. You didn't have statements. You had paper statements. You had to keep everything. And if you went to a restaurant, you had to keep every receipt or else you didn't have record of it. Those days were gone. Everything's electronic. Everything has an easy way to pull it. My corporate cards, I literally can print out a summary. It shows you where your expenses are for you. And we just translate that over and send it over to Rob, basically. Like, the world's so easy on that. And it's just that, you don't know what you don't know. And people have this connotation that running a business, you need to have an accountant on full-time staff. You don't, not with what we do. We don't. We just need to keep track of it, make sure it's in time to be at the filing dates, right? And go through that process. And as long as Rob has that to work with, he does an amazing job filing. We haven't had one issue in all these years. It's been seamless. And I've heard my colleagues complain about things, and they're doing things in an older fashion. They have that in-house bookkeeper that is getting paid a lot of money to sit around and access stuff. We had a full-time bookkeeper at one point, and I cannot even believe, like, it's just so easy nowadays. And it's just, so we'll cover that, and we'll have Rob come on and do that. But you guys, this is an amazing service. This guy is the expert in it. He's got an amazing staff there, and we just wanted to share this. Joe, we'll get that Excel sheet on training. We'll either have him do that, or he'll send it out to people individually. We don't need to do that today. And then
I'd love to send out to whoever wants one. Just get a hold of my secretary, and she will email it right to you. I mean, we're there to help. Sorry, I have to charge my phone. My phone's going dead.
You're good. I like this immersive review is awesome for stuff like this.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. All right, so we'll cover that, and then we probably can make. Well, I'll go over on the VIP system. We'll be putting the tax information or how to get a hold of Rob in the streamlined system we're going to organize. We can probably put it in there for them to download too.
Sounds great.
Yeah, so I'll work with you on that. I'll just gotta tell everybody, like, however complicated you think this has been or it should be, it's not. I'm gonna tell you, Rob has made it so easy for us, and it's something that everybody needs to have. But also, I've noticed something when I talk with people, and I'm working through the training. the scary part of having a company makes a lot of people not push themselves hard enough because you're afraid you're going to get into unknown areas. And so why succeed? You don't say that, but that's what your actions do. And so I really wanted him to come on and explain, hey, this is not a scary frontier. He's going to help you do everything. Him and his staff are going to help you do everything. So don't be worried about it. Get this out of your subconscious of a failure point. You know, we've got the experts to help us to do what we need to do here. So you guys can just focus on hitting those dreams, right? Dream bigger. Let's make this happen.
So I was going to say real quick, something I just wanted to make a comment on is, you know, a lot of people say, I don't want to make so much money because my income's going to be taxed at such a high rate if I do this or that. You know what? That concept is so old school and misunderstood, it drives me crazy. The thing is you got to understand, and I'm not going to get into it right now, but the difference between an effective tax rate and a marginal tax rate is huge. And when a lot of my clients come into my office and they say, oh, I had my income at, you know, I was in a 25% tax bracket this year. That's just too much. When I get into it, I tell them that their average bracket's probably in 17 to 18%. Because you have to average out the way the federal government does things. And what I tell most of my clients, actually I tell all my clients is, there's no such thing as a stupid question. You know, call me. I'd be more than happy to take 5 minutes on the phone with you, answer your question so you do something right, so you're not, you know, doing something stupid. The worst advice you can get generally is from a family member, a coworker, a friend. You know, figuring it out yourself, just call me. I mean, I don't charge for a 5-minute phone call. That, you know, people who do that, I'm not a lawyer. I don't like doing that. I don't know if your lawyer buddy does that, but I don't.
No,
I'm an accountant. I'm a lowly accountant.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I think our culture works so well, is we have it in a real way. And you guys know we have the direct to consumer process. He's actually been doing that same parallel thought. He goes right to the business guys. There's no middleman stuff there, and they just treat you right. You know, I got to tell you, every time I go and I've sat down with them, I've literally felt like I was his only client. I never felt rushed. I knew he had other clients because you'd see him coming and going, but he just treats people the same way we do. The core values match, and that's why I'm so happy he's part of this. We'll get the stuff set up. So I don't know if you want to come on Saturday morning at 9 a.m.
Yeah, this Saturday won't work for me. My nephew is being
no problem.
Church, so.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do is on Saturday, I'm going to have everything starting to line up. The ones that are in there now, if they want to get set up this year, I'll have them get with you right away. Otherwise, after Saturday, we'll start the streamlined process.
Sounds wonderful.
All right, guys. All right, Rob, thank you so much. Here, I'll end this. And we'll have them on again, guys. Don't you worry.
I'd be happy to come back.
Good. I'll let you know. We'll schedule it. We'll schedule it probably first part of January, just so we can keep on this information. So right now, anybody that wants to get set up this year, we're going to push on that. Saturday, we'll retouch on how we're going to get everything going and connected. And this is just something to be thinking about. Most people, this is going to be for next year, especially new people. All right, guys, we'll send Rob off. I have one more thing for housekeeping.
Thanks, Roy. I appreciate you.
Thank you, bud, so much. Okay, guys, so I'm doing a marathon this Saturday. I put out an email to everybody. I'm going to be doing creative writing. And what I mean by creative writing, everything we do is creative writing, but instead of focusing on the direct anchors or even the kiosks, I'm going to focus on other things that cross-market those, but you're going to see a style that I've been trying to get back to teaching you guys for a long time. It's going to start at 2 o'clock Mountain. So it's going to be right after we do the training on V-marketing. So from 9 to 10, I'm going to be on there. We're going to touch base about the stuff we talked about today. We're going to get everybody the information on how to get into the flow, to get set up with tax time and Rob and his guys, and go forward with that. And then I'm going to do some preemptive stuff and get some stuff set up. Then from 10 to 11 Mountain Time, that's our DTC hour. We're going to focus on wine. Then from 11 to when we take over for the training, we're going to be doing V-marketing. And that's something that everybody needs to get involved with. even at the basic level. And we've been coming up with problems and challenges. And you guys, we are overcoming so much. I am so proud of the progress we're making, but it's because of that, we drive that every week. And you guys, there's training Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday on how to perfect your BRT, your build relationship and trust, and how to participate more in the V marketing, whether it's the V marketing leads or the SDs and 101s that go through the same process. This is how we build our income. And I got to tell you, for those that on a corporation, if you've never had a company, have fun with it. All right, have fun with it. The name is the hardest part to come up with. The rest, the attorney's going to take care of it for you. Whether it's an S corp, an LLC, that's the main two that are. I think everybody's probably going to go down that path. We'll see what the advisors give you, but we're going to help get you guys those set up for literally an amazing value. I'll talk about that on Saturday. But you guys, we're doing it the right way. We want to keep everybody's overheads as low as possible, profits as high as possible. We are in the direct to consumer marketplace. Everything we do, we try to do in that system where we run as efficient and as efficient as possible. But think about it. We bring stuff like with Rob, we're bringing him steady people in there. He doesn't have marketing overhead. We take care of that for him. So he can charge really low fees for us and make it worthwhile for him. And it's his philosophy anyway. So I get all these people, their questions are like, oh my gosh, that's you guys, you guys should get used to that here. We just do things a lot differently. We do things the way they should be. We do things the way things are being made to be able to happen now. Now, I'm going to talk about this. I did a promotion. I wanted everybody to be aware of it. It's a different type of promotion. I'm always trying to find a way where I can help people and make it fun. And on Saturday, there is a list, okay? There is a list that your instructors and your MSIs are in charge of anybody and I'm going to do it retroactive December 1st. So if you are brand new into DTC Ambassador or Bella Vita, you get an entry. So you can get 2 entries if you're brand new into both. If you have been inactive for whatever reason and you reactivated, you get an entry as well. Okay. Now, this is so they're going to be reaching out. They're going to be on the team calls Saturday when I get organized with it and start doing the thing going forward. You have to be present, but I'm going to literally draw names off of that list, and that's who I'm going to be building the pages for. And I'm going to do it 3 ways. Okay. So I'm going to create a page on whoever I select, and then I'm going to modify that page for their instructor. So whoever the instructor is, I'm going to build a page for them. All right. And then I'm going to do a 3rd one. I'm going to put it on my system to modify later because I'm going to pick stuff that I want to run with as well. And I'm going to do as many of those as I can for the marathon time. You guys have seen me create pages. Sometimes I can do them in 30 minutes. Sometimes I can do them in an hour. But I'm going to be picking topics and showing you guys a direction on how to do it. I'm not going to go super slow because I want to see how many I can build out. But I'm going to show you guys some effective ways to draw traffic in addition to what we standardly teach you. This is literally a very fun thing for me, and I want to do more of this as we go into the next year. But you guys, I've written single articles that have created hundreds of thousands in a single month visitors. That changes everything. And I want to focus with you on how to do that because, and I want to explain all this stuff. So this is happening Saturday. I want to see what that. Yeah. Okay. Our trainings are always Tuesday at the same time. The Saturday training is, again, it's at 2:00 Mountain Time. So we'll be done right before that. We'll probably take a little bit of a break. And then right at 2, I'm going to come on and start building these pages. Now, you guys, I'm going to be like all over it. Okay. Ashley, qualifications. So we have 2 anchors, DTC, and I need to talk to you guys about this. I'm going to share something that I normally wouldn't share, but there's some changes coming. And for everybody that's already left this call, they're missing out on this. So I'm going to share it and not be live. I'm going to take the live off in a second. So you qualify if you are from December 1st up until the 2:00 time on Saturday. Anybody that reactivates, or is brand new and signing up in DTC Ambassador? Anybody that signs up in Bella Vita or reactivates in Bella Vita? And one entry per occasion, right? So you can get two. If you are, and then if you're the instructor, if your student wins, you're going to win a page as well. So I'm going to build the new page for the winner. Then I'm going to make a modification and show you how to modify it for the instructor. And then I'm going to do it online later, because I'm going to do something that I want to promote and push out there. So this is like where I created, you guys, I'll give you an example. I created a page on McDonald's, and it brought me so much traffic. It was awesome. And I just did it I spent an hour to do a training. That hour has paid me tremendously. This is what we're going to talk about and show and guide into it. It's something I've been trying to get back to and to structure and show. This is awesome. But I'm going to show how to do it and how to modify it so that everybody that shows up will be able to take it and modify it and do a version of their own as well. We're going to add new pages. Okay. Yes. Okay, Ashley, you would, yeah. Okay, so I got a great question on that. So if you're brand new, and you should have gone through session 1 and session 2 that explains how this all works. Okay. And if you're brand new and you're still not seeing all the connection points, make sure you go to the update page. I'll post it again. I'll actually go to it. How's that? And we're going over a bit, so I want to wrap this up. All right, I hope everybody can see my screen. Let me try it again. Okay, so it's going to be RRR247 update. I'm going to have to go check on that. It is secure. Okay, I gotta go check on that. Anyway, this training right here explains how everything works together on the anchors. So if you want to be in the drawing, I'll tell you guys, the odds are always really good, right? It might be 1 in 100, it might be 1 in 50. And if you have 2, that's like, you know, that good. And then I'm gonna be going like all freaking night. That's what I do. And we're gonna knock out some important stuff, but you guys are gonna learn by doing. I will broadcast it live. But it's a very fun thing that we get to do. But this update will catch you up on everything, on how it works. And I haven't even talked about the money. And you guys, we have the best business ever because our overheads don't keep growing. We have a small overhead. Our profitability is easy to attain compared to other businesses. You know, and that's what we're gonna really, you know, get engrossed in that. But you know, you're learning new setups. And let me just, before I stop this live feed, everybody starting out here, you're going to suck. It's going to be hard. You've never done this before, right? And then you're going to be getting okay at it as long as you keep showing up and practicing, right? Practice makes progress. Then you're going to get from okay to good. You're going to go from good to great. And then you're going to be just where you have all the skill sets to make this work. You're going to be empowered to really grow. You've got to learn the process. The thing that makes this so wonderful here is, the thing that makes this so incredible here is we're doing it in teams. You've got your MSI, PSI, GSIs, your instructors to help you do it, and we're doing it together. We got to help you build. You're not alone. And you guys, we train literally every day. We're building this together. So you know, so pat yourself on the back for showing up and being part of this. You know, hold your accountability. What have you done since last Tuesday? What are you going to do between now and next Tuesday? You guys, Saturday is going to be fun. Because you guys, I get so excited about these marathons because I get to really show you guys and dive in. And if you just learn one better way to do, one more thing that makes it a little bit better for you as you're learning this, great. But I'm going to be writing different things. You guys your feedback's awesome. I got to tell you, I love this. Okay, so now I'm gonna stop this. God bless everyone. Hold on, everybody that's here live, everybody that's catching the replay, you should have been on the live.